over the last week, we've seen both gold and silver prices taking a pretty big hit. If we take a look at the price of gold right now, we had it at $29.52 on Monday, and as of right now, it is all the way down to $2,858. That is a drop of almost $100. And looking at silver over this last week, we went from $32.47 down to $31.18, and if we go back even a little bit farther, you can see it's actually down from $32.96 on February 20th. So I thought today we would get a bullion dealer and find out how his customers are reacting to this price drop. Are they buying the dip, or are they selling because they think it's going to keep going down? So let's be joined by Keith from Coin Crew and find out what's going on in his shop. But do me a favor before we do, don't forget to like and subscribe and help us continue to grow. Hey everybody, welcome back. We are joined once again by Keith from the Coin Crew. Keith, we have a lot to talk about today. Gold is on a major downward trend, as is silver. These last couple of days, we have seen gold drop over $100 an ounce, right now sitting at $2,839 as we're recording this video. Silver is at $30.87. It's pulled back a couple of dollars as well. What do you think's going on here?
I think some people are a little fearful about the Fort Knox situation, and they're not sure if it's there, if it's not there. The market is, for the next couple sessions, I think it's going to continue to go down.
What are your thoughts? Here's what happened, and we're not even going to title this video Fort Knox, by the way, because I think the subject's been beaten to death. But since you brought it up, let's talk about it. What do you think happens to the gold price if it's there? And then alternatively, what do you think happens to the gold price if it's not?
I think if the gold is there, I think we might see it continue to go down. If the gold's not there, it's going to be like this weekend where people just want gold and they keep buying it.
So what do you mean by this weekend? What's going on there?
I just did a show Sunday over in Livonia, Michigan, near Detroit, and I sold a lot of slabs the show before. So I said, oh, okay, let's grab a roll of Eagle and a couple of extra gold pieces. So we take the roll of Eagles, display it out, and it didn't work like I wanted it to. I thought, oh, I could sell more collectible coins, attract more people. And in all actuality, I sold fewer collectibles and a whole lot of gold.
So you took a roll of gold Eagles with you to the show?
Yes, a roll of gold Eagles. And we sold almost half of them.
Almost half of them. So, wow, that's actually quite a bit of gold to sell. Was that a small show or a big show?
It wasn't a great big show. There's about, I think, 70 tables there.
Okay.
But there were a lot of interest in gold. A lot of people are thinking, oh, there's not going to be any gold in Fort Knox. I better get it now. But then we're seeing the market move, and it's like they're thinking the exact opposite. They're thinking there's going to be gold there, and it's showing some downward pressure.
So let me just kind of clarify that, just so I kind of understand what you just said there. What you're saying is that people that are in the paper market believe that the gold is going to be there, and it's going to drop the spot price, so they're selling. But people buying physical gold believe it's not going to be there, and they're buying? Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm getting at. The people who actually own the physical, who want to touch their gold, they're like, I want more because I don't think Fort Knox has got it. And, you know, a lot of speculators in the paper market, they tend to say, oh, it's going to be there. They're okay. They're totally positive. But in all reality, no one knows what's there at this time.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that don't know. And, you know, it's funny. I get comments on my videos all the time because I kind of covered the topic a few times in the last week and a half of people saying that it's not there and other people saying it's there. And then people saying, oh, I can't believe you don't know. It hasn't been there since the 80s. And the truth is no one really knows. Like, obviously, there's a lot of speculation. There's reports. There's people that say they've been there, that it's not there. But in reality, it's only really been audited publicly, like for public knowledge, a couple of times in the last like 70 years. So I don't think anyone really knows. Everyone thinks they know, but I don't think anyone really knows. And, you know, I think, like you had said, the people that are buying physical, you know, kind of based on what you've said and what I've heard from other people, the people that are buying physical believe that that gold's probably not going to be there, and they want to get gold in their hand before everyone else finds out. What do you think, Keith, if that's the case, what do you think happens to the price of gold? Let's say someone walks in and there's no gold at all in Fort Knox. What do you think happens to the price?
Well, I don't want to predict the exact price, but I think we are going to see quite an increase in the price of gold at that time if there's no gold in Fort Knox.
Yeah, if there's no gold in Fort Knox, you'll see a massive increase is what you're saying?
Yeah, again, I hate to say price, but I think it could possibly double.
Double, wow, okay.
None.
Yeah, and keep in mind, guys, this is just his opinion. We don't predict spot price in this channel. For all we know, it could go to $2 tomorrow. Not going to happen, but it could. So we don't predict it. But that's a very valid point. So I wonder if the people that are into comics right now are, if they're selling it off because I believe all the gold's going to be there, do they plan on buying it back later when everything settles down? I wonder. I mean, Keith, let me ask you, do you buy any paper gold yourself?
I don't buy paper gold. I do buy stocks and stuff. And what I've noticed a lot in the stock market, people tend to chase the direction it's going. And I would imagine they're doing the same thing with the paper gold. If they think it's on a downward trend, they're going to sell off and then try to catch the bottom. And I think that's what's happening.
Yeah. Do you ever play that with gold, try and catch the bottom, or with your stocks?
I do in the physical market. I try to catch the bottom, but I don't do it in the paper. And I do occasionally in the stocks. I'll try to find a bottom and mostly buy on the stocks for dividends and such. I don't like sell them off.
So let's switch gears and get back to your shop, because obviously spot's been dropping for the last couple of days. And while it's early Friday as we're recording this and you're not open yet today, did you have any people coming in yesterday to take advantage of the decrease in price on gold and silver?
We did have a couple people come in and buy some silver, sold a couple St. Gaudens coins. People are looking and liking the price that it's came down a little bit. So they're trying to, get in on that, I guess you could say, profit taking, so to speak.
So you said they sold a couple of St. Gaudens coins or bought them?
They bought a couple, and like I said, they're trying to get in on these bargain prices.
Okay, got it. All right. What did you sell those for yesterday? And I understand that St. Gaudens to have a premium depending on your mint mark condition, so on and so forth.
Well, they were certified. I don't remember the exact grade because I don't have it in front of me, but they were $32.25 each.
Okay, so that's a significant premium, but again, those also have numismatic value. What about generic gold? Let's say gold eagles, gold bars, things like that. What are those selling for in your shop right now, just premium wise?
I just what I happen to do is I just add on what the wholesaler does, and then I add like $50, $75 over. So probably about 140.
Okay,
over.
So that's for like a gold eagle. So what you're saying is if a wholesaler sells you the gold eagle for 60, then you'll add 50 on top of that?
Yes,
okay.
That's exactly how I do it. And when I buy exactly what they buy for, or maybe a little more.
So let me ask you a question. All right, so you're buying from the wholesalers and then marking it up $50. What happens when gold spot drops? Like, let's say you bought gold last week at spot being $29.50. You paid the wholesaler $3,000 an ounce. Now today we're sitting at $28.40. If you add even $150 onto that, you're still under what you paid. How does that work out for a coin shop? How do you stay in business or make money doing that?
Well, buy high, sell for less. I'm somehow making money. But honestly, we just kind of hedge it. If we sell gold, even if we paid more, we try to buy it back at a lower level. And that way we were working on the profits, the margin, so to speak, is how we make our money.
Got it. So for an example, if you sold a ounce of gold that you paid $3,000 for, but you sold it today for $29.50, you would then go back and buy that gold immediately back so that you still have the gold plus you have the difference?
Yeah, usually I'd be buying it back like $28.75, $29.00, and then I'll have that profit margin there.
Gotcha.
So my gold.
So you'll have the same gold and the profit difference. Got it. That makes sense. So what if spot drops so quickly? Like, all right, let's say, for example, with silver was sitting at like 33.50, just a few days ago. Now it's under 31. If spot drops so quickly on silver that you have a bunch of people come in and buy it, and then it goes back up before you get a chance to then turn around and buy it back, how does that work out?
I guess you could say American consumer business, whatever you want to call it. I just lost a lot of money.
You just lost a lot of money. Is that something that normally happens, or do you you try and do your best to make sure that doesn't happen?
I do try to do my best, but it has happened to me before. One time it happened on gold even. Back in 2012, it dropped like $250 in one day. And I went to go order it. The wholesalers are not selling their gold. I'm like, oh, crap.
So let's go back to the beginning of the silver squeeze, okay? The whole movement. There was a time where everybody, like you had all your online retailers, you had wholesalers that just refused to sell silver for a couple of days. Did you also pull your silver at that time, or did you sell it without having a source to buy it back from?
What I usually do if I don't have a source and I realize the source has closed their doors, so to speak, what I usually do is I go ahead and sell it but I do mark it up slightly to make sure I'm not losing money over what I paid because I can't replace it. And so at that point in time, I'll be working on the margins of what I actually paid. And hopefully, maybe later down the line, I can buy it back at a lower cost. But if I can't, at least I don't lose money.
Got it. That actually makes sense. So it would suck though, like to think about it, if you weren't able to replace it, so you marked it up to make sure you didn't at least lose on the initial purchase. But then later you have to buy it back and you have to pay more than what you had sold it for. At that point, you just kind of wish you wouldn't have sold it in the first place.
And like I said, I've done that before too. Fair. Yes, it happens.
Fair enough. Well, I guess the reason I bring up this whole line of questioning with you is because it's funny to me. People get so upset on coin shops, marking their silver up 3, 4, 5, or their gold up, I should say 3, 4, 5%. But I think these people don't realize, and this is the minority of people, okay? It's not the majority of people. It's the minority of people that, leave these comments. But I think what they don't realize is you have to deal with these spot price fluctuations and you have to work around that. So that's why I wanted to kind of bring that up and discuss it. It's crazy to me that people would get upset that a coin shop is just trying to make a living and keep themselves in business. And I do know that some of them are way too high. We've called shops in the past that were, $200 more than the shop that we called before. I get it. But I think the majority of the shops, and they're just marking them up, like you had said, you're only making $50. It just, you don't leave yourself a lot of room to mess with or to deal with the fluctuations in the market, I guess is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand it. As time goes on, I am trying to be more and more fair with people. I know I'm not the cheapest coin shop in the country by far, or I wouldn't be in business because I have to be able to get it cheaper somewhere else. I've been doing this a long time, and I actually sat down, I think it was last month, and I said, how much does it cost me to operate my coin shop if I decide I don't want to open 1 month? And that was almost $5,000 if I close my doors and I keep my building. We have to make profit and we have to do it fairly. So the better we treat people in the long run, they keep coming back.
Yeah, I guess it kind of goes back to the old adage that it's better to make a nickel off of somebody 5 times than a dime off of them once. You ever heard that?
Yes, I've heard that a whole lot. And what I've also learned is it's better to retain a customer than try to get a new one. It's actually cheaper.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense as well. Do you have a lot of repeat customers that come into your shop?
I would say over 85% of my customers are repeat customers. So I figure, like I said, I'm not the cheapest, but I must be doing something right. I must be treating people fairly because they keep coming back.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I know there's, people will support local business quite often and not even necessarily in precious metals, just period. Like a local shop, that sells, flowers or plants or something. I know a lot of people will support the local business even though they charge more just because it's a local business. So that makes sense, and it's good to hear that you have that kind of clientele. Keith, what can we look forward to coming in the next couple of weeks if spot price keeps dropping? I'm not asking you to predict spot price, just do you think if it keeps dropping, are people going to start selling off and try and get out of it before it drops? Or do you think people are going to take advantage of the dip and buy more?
I think it's going to be a mixed bowl. I think some of the people are going to try to take advantage of it, but there's going to be other people like, well, I think it's going down even further. I want to get rid of some of it. So you just have to sit back and think, what's the best choice for you? Buy more or sell off some? Use your own opinion. Watch a lot of videos, read some articles, and see what you think it's going to do.
For sure. And keep in mind that you may try and predict what it's going to do, but no one really knows. So give yourself a little bit of room to take a hit if it does drop. And also, and this is just, again, not financial advice, just my opinion, but don't spend every dime you have. Don't take out loans, to get into gold and silver. It just doesn't make any sense to pay all that interest. On top of the fact that you're paying premiums, now you have to make up the interest you're going to pay on that loan. It doesn't make sense. Would you agree?
I think loans are very expensive. I don't care for banks. They are a needed entity, but personally, I hate paying interest myself.
That is the money of slaves, as they say, right?
That is correct.
All right, Keith, well, I appreciate you joining us and for the insight. We hope to have you back on in the next couple of weeks as we keep an eye on what's going on with the market and see if gold stops dropping or if it continues. We'll see what happens. So thank you for joining us, guys. Keith has his own shop in Muskegon, Michigan called The Coin Zone. He also has a YouTube channel called Coin Crew. I'm going to put information for that down below. Keith, thank you so much.